I'm Brianna McHenry.
And I'm Stephanie Della Porta, and we are your guides for the When in Bloom podcast.
Join us weekly as we include tips, tricks, and alignment tools that support us on our personal journeys,
bringing you back to the knowing that you have all that you need within you to bloom.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us and our first guest. Today we have Iva of Svetliva joining us. She is an intuitive animal communicator and Reiki II practitioner. In today's episode, she shares tools and practices with you, encouraging you to shine your light brighter. I'm really looking forward to sharing this conversation with you. Iva's Reiki journeys are beautiful, and her animal communication has really helped my relationship with my cat, which we talk about later on in the episode. So everyone, welcome Iva. How are you doing today, Iva?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good.
The last few days, I've actually been experiencing some ascension / cosmic energy symptoms, and I was wondering if you guys might have also been picking up on some of it. I heard that it might have been related to meteors, and like personally, I've just been receiving headaches and not really feeling 100%. But today I'm feeling amazing, so I'm really grateful that I'm back for your episode.
We're grateful too to have you here. I believe it's the Lyrid shower. I think that's what it was. I don't know. I've been feeling pretty tired the past couple of days. I feel good today too, though. I actually had a good sleep, just like you. How about you, Brianna?
I did not sleep very well last night. But I've definitely been feeling activations. I had a big one over the week at the crown of my head, and it felt like a big headache, like a really intense headache for like a minute. And I felt like it was absolutely an activation, because then I started being able to see things with my third eye, with my eyes open, which I've never been able to do before. And yesterday I was driving and my right ear started like really hurting too. And then I'm like, okay, I guess it's ready to start hearing things a little bit better.
Oh my God, you just mentioning that, my ear too. That I completely forgot about that. It hurt too. That's so interesting that you said that. It wasn't just ringing. It was almost, I don't want to say it wasn't painful, but it was discomfort.
Eva, did you experience any, I know you said you were tired and feeling off, but did you feel any like chakra, or not even chakras, because your ear, well, it might be connected to a meridian line that I don't know of.
There's ear chakras.
Oh, there are ear chakras. Oh, okay.
Not that I picked up on. I think it was all in my head, so probably also connected to my crown. I love that you experienced your third eye awakening, though. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was in line at Starbucks, and I was in the drive-thru at the window, and they were taking a while. So I was just like trying to practice presence and sit there as I wait for my coffee. And I was looking out at like a big box store in front of me, and totally with my third eye, it all started crumbling, and it just showed me like black space kind of, but it felt like just like this big expansive like cosmos. And they basically told me to break down the illusions that you hold up for yourself.
I love that.
That's so interesting, because I channeled a painting a while ago from my Akashic record that I'm going to release soon. And it's basically, I think I sent it to you, Brandon. It's like everything was crumbling. The whole matrix was just kind of coming down, but you're the one that actually has to throw the rock. No one can make it dissolve for you. You have to be the one that shatters your own illusions, just like you said.
So cool. So I'm excited to see these activations and what else they activate within us as we move forward and get used to the energy.
Yes, we're here for a new earth. Iva, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started with energy work?
Yeah, so actually in high school, I had this moment where I was in history class. It was world history, and she was talking about Buddhism and how they believe in reincarnation and past lives, and that we just reincarnate from one life to the next, like our souls. And I've literally never heard about that concept before until that class. And when she said that, something in me just felt like I believe in that, like that is truth. So I got really fascinated by that. And then someone recommended Many Lives, Many Masters. And it was really interesting because it was about this therapist who actually tapped into the past life of his patient, and they didn't know that was going to happen, but it kind of explained why she had this irrational fear. So if you're into past lives, then definitely recommend that book. That happened in high school, and then I studied accounting all through college, got my bachelor's, master's in accounting, and I was on my way to take the CPA exam to be a certified public accountant. And I had so much resistance toward it, but it was kind of the path that I was being guided on from close family members. And so I just kind of rolled with it. But I actually found this YouTuber, Leora Alexandra, who is so amazing. She kind of kickstarted my awakening back in the spring of 2019 when I was studying for that CPA. And she was all about like manifesting, and I binge watched all her YouTube videos. And every single day I was so high vibe. I would take time to meditate and be very present. And ultimately, I ended up making the decision to not continue with that exam and kind of broke away from that path. And that was kind of the first time I stood up for like what I wanted. So it was really like this huge game changer in my life. And so I've been trying to make sure to keep up with that and honor myself and my boundaries. And since then, I have connected with one of my mentors, Haley of Sacred Lotus Heart, through a local library meditation. And I've worked with her on many healings, animal communication. I got really into crystals that year too. So like I have all these crystal babies, and I would meditate with them and do like sun baths with them. And I have lots of fairy energy in me. So there's no surprise there that we've got the connection to the crystals. And I also last summer started Brie Mellinson's Psychic Boot Camp course, and that has really kickstarted my intuitive readings and powers as we practice with one another, with people in that group. And ever since then, I've just been evolving myself spiritually. So
that's amazing. And I just want to touch on, as soon as you said fairy energy, I know Brianna wanted to say something too. Amazing. I have fairy energy. That's like one of my first incarnations in the universe. So that's amazing. I love that. That makes sense why we connect, because it's just, I love all the crystals. I love it all.
I know. I was dancing. I don't know if you saw me when you said fairies. I was like, yes, literally. I was just watching a fairy movie this morning, and like I have goosebumps. So like fairies are what's up. And I'm holding a crystal. Eva, do you have a favorite crystal?
Oh, I would have to say labradorite. I love all like the blue, purple flash one. I love them all, but I specifically resonate with the blue and purple flash ones. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How about you guys?
Moldavite.
Yeah.
As mentioned in our previous episode.
Moldavite is probably one of my favorite crystals too, because when you get it, you know that like you're in for a change. Like I purchased, I'll show you because we're on a video. I purchased a ring with Moldavite, and I was buying it and I was talking to the woman at the store and I was like, I call this the life-changing crystal because when the energy comes into your life and you feel called to get one, like your life is going to change. And it always changes in such an amazing way. So I really love moldavite, but I'm holding a piece of labradorite and I love the shiny ones. Like, so I always try, this one is raw on one side and then polished on another. But I always try and I really want like a big chunk of polished labradorite because they're so beautiful.
Yeah, that was my first favorite until I found moldavite. And then you're right, it just completely life-changing. But the one you're holding now, because Brianna's showing us on the video, I have literally the exact same looking one, polished on one side, raw on the other, that I bought in Australia when I lived there a few years ago. And I'm like both of you, which is why I love moonstone as well. I love the iridescence. That's what it is when you move it around and you get all these different hues and colors. My favorite.
When I have people that I know are trying to get pregnant, I'm like, here, have a moonstone. But as I was having that thought come in, it's like fertile for anything. It doesn't have to be fertile for a baby, fertile for a new project.
Yeah, I birth new things all the time, creations, projects, artworks.
Yeah. So the moonstone's definitely working for you.
It definitely is.
Mm-hmm. I really love selenite too. I have a big selenite wand and it just broke and shattered into like 20 pieces. But I'm so excited because now I have like 20 mini selenite wands.
You could do a crystal grid with them now.
I can do a crystal grid with them. I'm going to do that tonight.
Do you know what that means? Did you tap into it?
I haven't tapped in for myself what it means. I've heard of a few other things, but I'd love your interpretation of it.
I keep getting this message around rebirth, and if you feel called to give some back to Mama Gaia, like whether you kind of sprinkle them on top or bury them, those are the two messages coming through.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so pretty. Yeah, I'll definitely do that with giving some back to the earth. And when you were saying that, my crown, I felt like a lot of energy on my crown. So definitely resonates. And there's definitely a rebirth coming. One of the things that I like to do with crystals is when they break, I give them to other people. So it's kind of like I get to share this part of the crystal. So I think I'll share some and then I'll share some back with the earth and then I'll just leave one little chunk of it.
I've actually had that exact situation happen where I had this garnierite that it was like about like friendship and I forget what else. But I was holding it and I was, at the time we were going to do like this new moon ceremony with my other two friends and we were walking and I was talking about my now boyfriend and it literally just broke like in half in my palm, right as I mentioned him. And then I didn't think anything of it, but we did our ceremony and then we were walking back and then one of them noticed this big rock that was to the side of our path and it was broken literally like in the exact same formation, like in half, very similar to the garnierite. And I ended up gifting the 2 pieces of garnierite to each of them. And it kind of had me revisit like connecting with him. And now we're together. So it was like a kind of like a shift for me.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Iva, I love animals. I know Brianna loves animals. And we are wondering, how do we communicate with animals? How do you communicate with them? Do you feel? Do you see? Do you hear? Is it an inner knowing? Can you just let us know kind of what your process is?
Yeah. So some of my favorite ways to connect so I'm very visual And I feel like when I first connect with animals, a lot of the times I'll get a visual, like if there's one of their legs that's hurting, I've seen like a visual of the side of the animal, and then they've lifted up their leg that they're trying to show me something's going on. Other times it's an inner knowing. And then the third way that I connect is through hearing messages. So as far as everyone else connecting, because we can all do this, and that's why I love that you guys are bringing this up, is so when you connect with them, something that I've been taught by my mentor is you can envision this infinity sign going from your heart and connecting your heart, your third eye, and their third eye and their heart. So kind of this like loop. And obviously everyone's going to connect different. So you can try all like these ways that I'm saying, and you can see what works for you, or maybe you have a totally different way. But I think being open to, I think with anything that you do intuitively, it's so important to just be open to how you connect. And you can try all these ways that other people do it, but ultimately, as long as you're open to how you work and your unique way of connecting, then you'll find it. So I do the infinity sign. I've also wrapped bubbles around the animal and me to kind of create like a little space for just both of us, so I can get like a more clear communication. That's been working really well lately. And you can also send pictures between each other. So you can kind of look at them and ask them whatever you're trying to communicate and see if you get a visual. Or if you're trying to tell them to do something, I kind of like envision them kind of like a mini movie. Like if I want one of my puppies to go into the crate, I'll envision him, I'll watch him, and then I'll send him like a telepathic mini movie of seeing him walking into the crate. And then he knows that that's what I want. And another thing that you can do if you find that you're struggling a little bit to get like that clear connection between the two of you is connect with your guides. If you have a strong bond with your guides, they can be that bridge between you two until you build that direct communication. And also how I started off was just doing muscle testing with myself and my own body and asking my higher self, is this food a good one for my puppy right now? Should we give them this? So when you have a strong muscle testing connection, which I've been able to nurture and cultivate, I think that it makes it easier to connect because that information is still there for you and our higher selves have access to it. So if you're not able to connect with the animal or you're struggling with your spirit guides, connect with yourself, because I feel like that's kind of the easiest way to actually tap in. So those are kind of some ways that you can try and just to start off, but ultimately just be open to your unique way. Just know that you have a unique way that you connect, and you'll find it. You just have to be open to anything.
So Eva, when you telepathically connect with your animals, are you telepathically connecting through like the infinity symbol, or how does that look for you?
So I guess I view the symbol as more of like kind of like when we connect intuitively. So you want to ground and cleanse yourself. So it's kind of like that. It's just setting up the connection between you two, and you're setting it up between your heart and third eye with you and the animal. So it's just kind of getting everything ready for the communication to start, to make sure you guys are connected. Lately, when I've been connecting, I ask to connect to the animal. I usually do ask for a picture. However, I have been able to connect without a picture, without a name before. But since I'm visual, I like to have the picture. So I look at the picture, I close my eyes, I do my grounding process to connect to source, and And then I envisioned that animal kind of in front of me from the picture that I had just seen. But obviously, this is all in my third eye at this point because my eyes are closed. And then I envisioned the bubble, and I just kind of start to have a conversation with them, just as if they were in front of me, just as if it was any other being. And a lot of the times, like lately, what I've noticed that's so exciting is I actually kind of get like a feel of what their energy is and kind of their personality. So I pick up on if they're kind of like sassy or if they're more on like the calmer side. And so I've been really enjoying that because then I kind of know like what their energy is and kind of how to talk to them more. And then I just kind of ask questions, or if there was a message that their human wanted to relay to them, I make sure to let them know that message. And we just have a conversation. It's just as if they were in front of me and I was just talking to them.
So pretty much the way we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Before I forget, you mentioned muscle testing to be an important tool for you. Can you explain what that is for people that have no idea or have never heard of it before?
Yeah, so this is my favorite thing because I feel like sometimes when we have these blocks for like all the spiritual intuitive stuff, it's because some of us need those like physical confirmations to really kind of believe in it more, even if they do already believe, but they kind of just need that little push to see like, whoa, like this really works. So if you stand up straight and you ask yourself, show me yes, your body is going to move in a certain way. And it's different for everyone. So mine moves forward and backward for a yes. And then if you say, show me a no, your body's going to move differently than the yes. And mine is side to side for that. I've had people move forward for yes, backward for no, up for no, down for yes. It is just really, it's individual. And I mean, like people who are listening, definitely try this and see how your body is. And the more that you tap into this and utilize this ability, the more it's going to grow. And now, like when I ask, because I do this daily for everything, you'll kind of already know what direction it's going to go before your body actually moves. But I think that this is such a cool tool for people to try because it gives you that physical confirmation to show you like this works. And then you just have to trust it. So even if you really want that cone of ice cream and you like your mind wants it, but your higher self is like, no, we don't need that today. The more you trust your intuition and your higher self, you're going to build that bond, and then you're going to be able to tap into everything intuitively easier. So I love that.
Muscle testing is so powerful. I used to use it a lot when I first started being intuitive on my own. And I was just thinking when you were talking, one of the very first time I ever used muscle testing was to buy a journal. I was at the store and I held the journal to my heart and I asked if I should get the journal, and I got a yes. And like 2, maybe 3 years later, it's my intuitive journal and it's full of so much knowledge. So I didn't even think of it then. Like it was pretty important for me to have like a sacred space for all of my writings and everything that I was learning. And it's cool to see it come full circle now.
I really need to use muscle testing more. In all honesty, I did same as you, Brianna, when I first kind of started being intuitive on my own and taking certain courses. And then when I learned about energy medicine, I started energy testing instead. So I haven't done muscle testing in a while. So thank you for bringing that up, Eva. I'm going to have to try that again. Maybe I'll try it when I go to the grocery store next and want to buy something I know I really shouldn't.
When you were talking about ice cream, I was like, I wish I did that for my breakfast this morning, because as I was not I sent my partner out to go and get it. And as he was getting it, I was thinking, why am I eating this for breakfast? I should have just gotten up and made myself breakfast. I know my body doesn't want it. So it's a good reminder to listen to your intuition. Thank you for listening. If you are enjoying what you are hearing, please remember to subscribe, like, and leave a review. Now let's get back to the show. Iva, can you share with us how you work with animals in your Reiki healing journeys that you do?
Yeah, so the Reiki healing journeys are it's like a fusion of a meditation, because I kind of walk you through what I'm experiencing. So we go on this beautiful journey together. It has shamanic elements because I bring in the elements and animal spirits pop in. So we'll be working on like your solar plexus chakra, and then monkey spirit will come in with a message. Or sometimes the animal spirits come in just to kind of support the healing for that energy center. So it's really beautiful, and it's been very unique for every single journey. And then obviously during this, I'm also sending Reiki, and we're doing healing balancing on all of your chakras. So animal spirits have been so present in like from the very beginning of my readings. And I just really connect with them. I'll go outside on a walk, and I'll be like fascinated by the birds that are like, I don't know what they're called, but they're black, and then they've got like the little bit of like orange or red, and then we got a bunch right over here.
They're red-winged blackbirds. Obsessed with birds. Like, I can identify a bird by their call. It's a red-winged blackbird.
Yeah, they're everywhere here. And something that I feel like is such a easy way to connect to animals that anyone can do is just pay attention to animals that kind of cross your path or just near you as you're outside, even as you're driving. So a lot of the times I'll see like hawks just kind of swoop down, and just seeing them in front of you cross your path, that's all you need to know, that there's a message for you, they're supporting you. And even when you see animals that have been unfortunately hit by a car on the road, like you can actually help them and send them to the light, like help them get up to the light if they need, or just send them blessings. Like I just hold out my right hand and just send blessings. I do that with fire trucks and police cars, like when I hear the sirens too, just sending blessings, as you're like out and about. I think that that's a really nice way to connect to them, and also just kind of send some positive energy in the world.
I think that's great. And I think it's so important because animals coexist with us. And once we learn to live in harmony with them, we learn to live in harmony with ourselves and with each other. So I'm really glad you brought that up, Iva.
Thank you.
When you mentioned animals crossing your path and how like they are working with you, or they might have a message for you. Eva did one of her Reiki journeys on me a few months ago, and it was amazing, so beautiful. And a lot of the animals that came up in the Reiki healing session are coming up physically in my life now. Like one of the animals I remember was a bee, and I see bees everywhere. I had to save a bee the other day because it was like stuck in my bathroom window. And yesterday I had bees like landing on me, and normally bees leave me alone.
Brianna, I had that dream of you too, where there were bees everywhere and I was terrified, and you were trying to help me with them and remove them from my room.
Ooh, that's so crazy. I have to look into that.
Oh, and that was, I think that was a few months ago, but I actually completely forgot to tell you about one I had last week or the week before, we were together. Brianna, you're always showing up in my dreams now. And we were together and there was a field and there were bees all over my arms and I couldn't get them off. And I remember looking at you and you were the one that helped me with it and helped me not be afraid and to receive the love.
That's so cool. Iva, do you want to interpret that?
So part of it was they were actually giving you medicine. And then the other part, because actually when bees sting you, that's actually like, or any animal like bites you, that is a form of medicine. And the other part is there's something about resistance because you had that fear present. So looking in to see what that was mirroring, what resistance were you feeling at the time around a situation? And I love that Brianna was there to help you with that. She's like the beekeeper now.
It's true because I remember telling you about that dream, Brianna, the first one, and you saying, "I don't know why I would be helping you. I'm terrified of bees."
Terrified. Yeah. Well, I'm terrified of wasps, and sometimes bees accidentally get labeled into my fear.
Yes, that's it. Like bumblebees, I love them. I love if they want to land on me, that's fine. I'm okay. You're right. It's because here in North America, it's the hornets and the wasps, and I don't want to accidentally think it's a bee, be all loving, have it land on me and then I get stung. But that's good to know, Eva, that it's medicine. So now if that does happen to me, I'm fairly certain I'm not allergic to, to them. Otherwise that would be a problem. And I don't want that medicine. I'm going to need another type of medicine, but I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to definitely next time a bee is around me, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm just going to kind of take it in and get that healing energy. And if it stings me, I guess I'll just know that I just needed some extra love.
I've got stung by a bee the last 2 summers in a row. And that was when I was really quickly kind of awakening. So it's like literally like the bees are giving me medicine to help me ascend a little bit.
That's great. I've never been stung. That's probably why I fear them. But I read that they're from the Pleiades. And that they're heart healers. So when they buzz around you, they surround you with actual like healing energy. So I guess we needed love. They said, they surround you with love.
My cat George has been sleeping on the bed this whole time. And I actually gave him permission to witness our conversation because Eva suggested I do that for him. And he just got up and started walking around, and then now he's back to sleep. So Eva, do you want to connect with him and see what's going on?
Sure. Okay. So at first when I connected, I saw him kind of like rub up against like the side of a table. And then he was kind of in this like chill mode. So he's just kind of relaxing. And when I asked him how everything is going as a follow-up to our previous connection, he said that he feels like you guys understand each other better. And he really appreciates that. He mentioned the bee and he was like, thank God that Brianna got that out of here.
The bee was in our bedroom, which is where he sleeps all the time.
Yeah, he appreciated you helping the bee out of your space.
That's so cool. Oh, I'm so excited. So I wanted to talk about the first reading that you did for George so people can kind of get a gist of what's going on. George loves biting me. And he would always come over and nip at my ankles or the back of my knees. And it was so annoying. And I would always lose my temper with him a little bit. And it really started happening about 2 years ago. And I asked Eva to connect with him and find out why he is biting me all of the time. And he basically told her that he was taking on my energy from doing like in the readings that I'm doing and the energy work that I'm doing, that he was taking on that energy for himself and he couldn't get rid of it, which is so synchronistic because whenever I meditate, he is sitting on my lap. When I would do readings, he's on the table or he's next to me. He's always there. And Eva suggested that I clear his energy a little bit. There was one that she said to wash your hands under cold water, right, to help move it. So immediately after she relayed this message to me, I cleansed him with some sage and I chanted some words to him and I just wrapped him up in a little bubble and I took off any energy that didn't belong to him. And I washed my hands in cold water. And she also suggested to give him permission to watch what is going on. So allow him to be the witness to the energy that I'm moving around without taking it on. And recently, when he would bite me, I would freak out and get really angry. And then Eva reminded me to wash my hands. So he would bite me and I started like washing his body. I don't know if in Reiki, where you're at the end of a session, you're taught to like wipe the energy away and to cleanse that that connection. So I started doing that to him. And I was literally like washing and visualizing all of the energy getting off of him. And he would just like roll around and purr and live the dream. And he's come over to me a couple of times trying to bite me. And I've washed him and washed the energy away. And he's barely been biting me. Like, it's huge. And he also leaves me alone when I meditate now. Like, he doesn't feel like he is responsible for holding on to any of my energy, because animals really are here to help you manage your energy. So they'll take on any stresses that or energy that you have that is too much for you. They'll take it on for themselves. And that was the only way that he could communicate to me was through biting me to be like, hey, please help me. And it's made a huge difference.
Oh, I'm so glad.
That's great that by helping yourself, you ended up helping George.
Yeah, he's so cute.
So it's kind of like how it goes with the world, right? You heal yourself, you heal the world. You heal yourself, you heal your animal.
That's right. And I'm a lot nicer to him now because he's not biting the backs of my knees when I'm like cooking dinner.
Animals are such beautiful mirrors for us. Like, I know when we got our first puppy, we would take him on walks and he would walk really well the majority of the time, but there were certain areas where he would start to bite the leash and pull and show frustration. And when we tapped in to see what was going on, he was so my boyfriend was holding the leash up and those times, and he would be thinking about something that he was frustrated about. So our puppy was kind of giving him a signal of, hey, like, don't be frustrated, just be in the moment, be in the present and enjoy all of the beautiful nature around you and ground yourself and allow like the healing energy. But so once we learned that was kind of a game changer because we were more aware of our energy when we were out on walks. And also something that I kind of had this like epiphany moment is when you're walking and then you see someone walking their dog and their dog starts to like bark and get upset. A lot of the times you'll notice like the human is actually feeling frustrated because they know that their dog sometimes acts that way. So in their head, they're already expecting that their dog is going to do that. So they kind of in a way like manifest it / like enable it to happen. And I noted, like, I pay attention to that now that we have dogs and I'm more aware. But a lot of the times dogs that are barking or might be aggressive or whatever, it's actually a reflection of the human. So just a nice reminder out there for everyone to make sure you're paying attention to your energy, because it does transfer over to your fur babies too.
That's so great. Me and my partner, we don't currently have a pet. See, I don't even like using that word because I don't believe in the idea of ownership over another living being. So I guess I'll just say animal friend. We do not have an animal friend living with us yet, but for me, I resonate with everything you're saying, especially even just with communicating with animals in general, because I've always had a very strong connection to animals and they show up for me all the time. And I have messages from animals all the time. So I love that you've given us tools and ways that we can connect with them further, even if we don't have an animal friend at home, that we can also use this information that you've shared with us to connect with the animals around us and learn to coexist even more than we do now. I think that's so amazing. Thank you so much, Iva.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, this is awesome. Since we're talking all about animals on this episode, Eva is going to pull our oracle cards for the week from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck by Colette Barron-Reed. Take it away, Eva.
So the first card that popped out was the Koi Fish Spirit. And the message here is there is always enough. I used to always use the book to read what the messages are, but I've been challenging myself to actually get a feel for it just by looking at the card. So what's coming through with this Koi Fish Spirit is this message to flow and work with water element. And it's this message of prosperity and abundance and everything just coming to you. And all you have to do is just flow with it. And then the second card that we pulled was Starfish Spirit. And it says open to infinite possibility. This one too, it has this energy of being so majestic and the starfish just looks like it is uniquely itself, and it just shines so brightly. So just reminding you to shine your light as bright as you can, because when you shine your light, then you're going to encourage others to shine theirs, and then we can all shine our lights together.
That was so beautiful. That resonated for me so much. And I'm so excited to take that energy in the upcoming week.
Yes, I love the starfish. I love all things ocean, but I really resonate with the starfish.
Do you have mermaid energy too? I see it.
I definitely do. Very Atlantean, but beyond Atlantis, definitely mermaid. I have a deep connection with water animals, especially the whales and the dolphins. And when we lived in Australia, that was the highlight of my entire 32 years of living on this earth, because I was in the ocean more than I've ever been in my entire life. And I've never felt more at home. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, so they can find me on Instagram. My handle is Svetliva711. So more than happy to connect with them there. They could shoot me a message or interact on any of my posts, and I'll keep an eye out.
That's perfect. Iva, it's been such an honor having you on this podcast, especially as our first guest episode. And thank you so much for sharing your energy with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was so beautiful. And I loved the energy of it. It was really such a great energy to bring for the first guest episode.
Thank you so much. I feel so honored. I'm so happy to connect with both of you. And I'm happy that we were able to create this beautiful energy and bring in the magic with the animals.
Thank you again. And thank you all for listening. We hope that you take these tools that Iva has taught us and you are able to practice them on your furry loving animal friends. And we look forward to hearing from you all. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Iva. And well, I hope the full moon is good to you all, and we'll see you all next week.